US scraps H1-B lottery system. High paid, higher skilled. Foreign workers prioritized. Effective from February 2026. Applicable from fiscal year 2027. Who benefits from this move? Can it potentially hurt Indians?
A sweeping overhaul of the United States H1-B visa program under the Trump administration is set to significantly reshape the prospects of Indian professionals hoping to work in the country. By replacing the long-standing random lottery system with a weighted selection model that prioritizes higher skilled and higher paid applicants, the latest rule could change sharply narrow opportunities for a large section of India's US-bound workforce. Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX Explained and I'm Megha Sharma. We are going to dive into the recent H1-B visa changes and their massive impact on the Indian tech professionals. Firstly, what is H1-B and the old system? H1-B visa lets US companies hire foreign workers for specialty jobs like software engineering, data science and biotech, roles needing at least a bachelor's degree. There's a cap of 85,000 visas per year, 65,000 general and 20,000 for US masters holders. Demand always outstrips supply, so for years it was a random lottery. Employers registered workers electronically in March, and if over the cap, the USCIS picked randomly. But here's the twist. Before 2024, workers could have multiple registrations from different employers, boosting their odds. Indian techies, especially from consulting firms like Infosys or TCS, often had several, giving them an edge. Well, now the random lottery is out. Starting February 2026, for 2027, it's a weighted selection process. This means that your chances depend on your offered wage and skill level based on Department of Labor data. The core overhaul replaces the random lottery system with a weighted selection process that prioritizes higher skilled and higher paid applicants. This new rule, which is effective 27 February 2026, builds on the existing beneficiary-centric model introduced in 2025, where each unique beneficiary or worker is entered only once in the selection process, regardless of multiple employer registrations. Under the weighted system, selections are based on wage levels tied to the Department of Labor's occupational employment and wage statistics data. Higher wage levels, for instance, level 4, the top tier, have a significantly increased probability of selection by 107% higher, while lower levels, for instance level 1 or entry level, see a drop of 48%. The goal is to allocate visas to higher skilled workers, but it still allows opportunities across all wage levels, though with reduced odds for lower paid roles. This curbs fraud but levels the playing field or tilts it towards the elite. Additionally, a presidential proclamation issued on 19 September 2025 imposes a $100,000 payment required for most new H1-B petitions filed on or after September 21st this year. This applies to beneficiaries outside the US without a valid visa or in certain change of status or extension cases payable via pay.gov before filing. Exceptions may be granted by the Secretary of Homeland Security for national interest cases, but this fee acts as a major barrier for many applicants. The electronic registration process remains. Employers submit registrations, now $215 per registration during a March window, and USCIS conducts the weighted selection if registration exceeds the cap. For fiscal year 2026, the eligible registrations dropped 26.9% from 2025, partly due to the anti-fraud measures. Indian nationals have historically dominated the H1-B program, accounting for over 70% of the visas issued annually. In 2024, Indians received about 72% of the approvals. This dominance stems from the tech sector's reliance on Indian talent, particularly in its IT services, software engineering and consulting. But what do we know? Will it hurt Indians? Let's take a closer look. Shift from random to weighted selection. Previously, multiple registrations per beneficiary, often from the Indian IT consulting firms, inflated selection odds. The beneficiary-centric rule already curbed this, but the weighted system further disadvantages lower-wage applicants, many of whom are Indian entry-level or mid-career professionals. Wage bias. Many Indian H1-B holders start at occupational employment and wage statistics level 1 or 2 wages around $60,000 to $90,000 for tech roles, which now have lower selection probabilities. Higher paid Indians at big tech firms, for example Google and Amazon, may fare better, but the overall pool shrinks for others. A $100,000 fee barrier, which is a massive upfront cost, is prohibitive for small firms, startups and individual applicants. Common pathways for Indian techies. Large multinationals can absorb it, but Indian outsourcing firms like Infosys, TCS that hire in volume may cut back, leading to layoffs or reduced US hiring. Volume dependency. With Indians comprising the majority, any system favoring America First policies reduces their share. Fake registrations, often linked to Indian applicants, have been reduced, but this hasn't offset the wage tilt. Let's talk about the entry-level techies. Fresh graduates from IITs, NITs or US universities opt under the old lottery. You had a shot if registered multiple times. Now, with weighted odds against level 1 wages, your chances shrink by nearly half. If you are aiming for a startup or a small firm paying $70,000 in a mid-cost city, you are at a disadvantage compared to someone offered $120,000 at a foreign company. But the $100,000 fee, most new graduates can't front that, and small employers will not. This leads to fewer Indians getting the first US foothold. Many might pivot to Canada, Australia, or stay in India with remote gigs. For mid-career engineers, think 5 to 15 years in, specializing in AI, cloud, or cybersecurity, the hit is subtler but real. If you are not at level 4 pay, your selection odds drop. Indian professionals often move via body shopping firms that place you at clients like banks or retailers. These gigs pay well but not elite. Now those firms might skip filings altogether due to the fee, leading to job cuts back home or stalled careers. Small US firms, startups or consultancies, key employers for Indians, can't compete. They lack resources for higher wages or the $100,000 hit, so their H1-B slots go unfilled to the bigger players. Overall, a 20 to 30% drop in Indian approvals per some estimates forces techies to upscale aggressively or look elsewhere. Data shows that 90% of the H1-B applications for international students are at level 1 or level 2 wages. Level 4 is considered the highest, where the applicants generally have management or supervisory responsibilities. This weighted selection process will generally favor the allocation of H1-B visas to higher skilled and higher paid applicants, while maintaining the opportunity for employers to secure H1-B workers at all level wages. An estimated 300,000 Indian professionals, largely in technology, engineering and services, currently work in the US on H1-B visas. Adding to the strain, the US State Department has since 15th of December expanded social media screening of all H1-B and dependent H4 applicants. This enhanced vetting has led to widespread rescheduling of visa interviews across India, leaving many professionals stranded after traveling home for visa stamping. Immigration lawyers have warned that prolonged delays, sometimes stretching to mid-2026 or even 2027, could result in job losses. In summary, the H1-B overhaul, weighted lottery, wage priority, and that hefty $100,000 fee reshapes the game, hitting Indian techies the hardest by shrinking chances for entry-level, mid-career, and small firm paths.
US scraps H1-B lottery system. High paid, higher skilled. Foreign workers prioritized. Effective from February 2026. Applicable from fiscal year 2027. Who benefits from this move? Can it potentially hurt Indians?